Hello, my name is Matthew Tink. I am a doctoral student in history at Liberty University, a retired United States Air Force veteran, and a former Joint Terminal Attack Controller. In this video, I want to talk about one of the most consequential yet overlooked roles in modern American military history, Joint Terminal Attack Controller, or JTAC. I want to share the story of how it was born out of war, inter-service rivalry, and hard-won combat experience. To understand a JTAC, one must first understand one of its predecessors, the Forward Air Controller, or FAC. The FAC role emerged during World War II and was refined during the Korean War. The 1947 Key West Agreement had divided aviation roles between the services, creating institutional tensions that would plague air-ground coordination for decades. It was Vietnam that truly tested and ultimately exposed the limits of that arrangement, as fratricide, poor communication, and lack of standardized training revealed critical gaps in how the Air Force and Army worked together in the close air support mission. The lessons of Vietnam would eventually force service-wide changes. The Gulf War of 1991 marked a turning point in how the American military thought about air-ground integration. Operation Desert Storm demonstrated the devastating effectiveness of precision air power when properly coordinated with ground forces. However, it was also revealed that the system of controlling the air power was still fragmented, inconsistent, and dependent on which service you belonged to. Furthermore, operations throughout the 1990s, from Bosnia to the no-fly zones over Iraq, continue to expose those same institutional gaps. By the end of the decade, it was clear that a joint, standardized solution was needed. Yet it would take the hard lessons from combat operations, such as Anaconda in 2002, to finally force the issue. 2 years of ongoing conflict in Afghanistan and the invasion of Iraq in 2003 made the need for a joint, standardized air controller an undeniable urgency. On September 3, 2003, that urgency became policy. With the publishing of Joint Publication 309.3, Close Air Support, which officially established a Joint Terminal Attack Controller, or JTAC. For the first time, all services in allied and partner nations that had signed on to the program were trained and certified to a single joint standard. The Joint Terminal Attack Controller had arrived, and the fragmented system of air-ground coordination that had plagued the military for decades was finally being replaced by a unified joint standard. The story of the JTAC is ultimately a story about what happens when inter-service rivalry collides with the hard realities of combat. It took decades of war, doctrinal failure, and hard-won combat experience to produce a role that is now recognized across the joint force and among allied and partner nations worldwide. The story of the JTAC deserves to be told, and this research is dedicated to making sure it is. Thank you for watching.